Hey everyone! So I'm not talking very loudly because it's early in the morning. I'm super excited because today is the day that I get to go see a neurologist that has specialized knowledge in periodic paralysis. So I'm so excited to get her thoughts. A little nervous, but feeling pretty good about it. Funny story. I am at an Airbnb and there's this cute little sunroom that I'm sitting in right now, and I'm actually locked in the sunroom. But there is another door, so I'm not completely locked in. But if you hear like a handle jiggling, it's because my husband is coming to my rescue to open the door back into the house. So fun adventures already. But I just wanted to share some of the things that I'm taking with me to my appointment in case anybody else might find it helpful. I've been looking through my notes just like to make sure that everything's fresh. I hadn't really been diving too deep into periodic paralysis recently because I felt like I had been immersed in it for over a year. So I felt like I had a pretty good grasp of like what I needed to know. But I did review my notes. I read over like my symptom notes, my history, just to make sure that I had everything together for the doctor. I have like printed out everything. She has like an email address that you can send all of like your notes and previous medical records to, so which is pretty fantastic that she does that. But yeah, so I printed out those notes as well because I wasn't 100% sure if they made it. That's one of the things that I kind of always am curious about. I think like maybe the doctors or staff just don't have time to like confirm that they received it. I don't know, but sometimes there's weird file issues and they can't open it, and then there's a whole thing. So like what I tend to do is like be overly precautious, and I send my own notes to myself through email so that like if I have my phone on me in the appointment, then I can pull it up through my email or through like Google Drive or something similar. But I also print it out because I'm a very I like to be able to hold things and have it in front of me. It's very helpful because, as you guys can tell, I tend to forget important things when I am in the moment, and the notes really help me. I am taking with me those notes. I'm also taking my Haribo potassium meter just to know she knows like what I've been using to like measure my potassium levels. This is what it looks like if you guys are interested. It's not like a foolproof, this is not like an FDA approved thing for testing potassium levels. And it's pricey. It's like, I think in the US it's around $400. So it's pretty pricey. And then it also like you buy these potassium calibrating solutions, and you have to calibrate it every time you use it. And so it's not like it's not like an ideal way, because I know for me, like if I am in a severe attack, it's really difficult to manage like calibrating the equipment and then like spitting into it. Like it uses your saliva as like the sample that is used to read your potassium levels. And then there's a chart that you can use to convert what the level is on the meter to the actual potassium level. So that's what I've used. And I've noticed for me, like when I'm having a day with like severe attacks or like during an attack, usually I actually catch my potassium like really high, like above the normal limit. Like I think the highest I've ever seen it was like 5.75, and that was like during a time when I was intentionally eating like refined carbs to see if it would provoke symptoms for me, and I was symptomatic. So that was interesting to me. I know you can get different potassium readings, like at least in your blood, like depending on the timing. If you want to learn more about that, there is a Do I Have Periodic Paralysis? Pursuing a Diagnosis. It's like a brochure that's been put together by, I think it was Periodic Paralysis International, or the Periodic Paralysis Association. I can't remember, but I'll put a link to that in the description. But yeah, so I'm taking my notes, I'm taking the potassium meter, the calibrating solutions. Sometimes it's good, like I've done this before, where I went to my general practitioner and I explained all of this and had like the material with me to like show like why people use it. And she was more than willing. She was like, oh, kind of like how people read their blood glucose levels, and she was more than willing to let me see if the meter was accurate. Now, I didn't know that you were supposed to calibrate it with each use at that time, so mine was off, but it was good to know. It was a good learning experience for me. I'm also taking with me my Kepi electrolyte mix, and I am not in any way getting paid by Kepi. This stuff has been so helpful. It's been helping me manage my symptoms a lot, or so it seems. There is like, how much percent? I don't think it says on the individual one, but there's a lot of potassium in one of these, and for me, I found like if I feel an attack coming on, then it helps like mitigate it or like reverse it. So that's been really helpful. I'm like very much looking forward to having one of those later. I'm gonna preface this by saying I do not recommend this. I intentionally have like been sugar loading over the past week, like mildly during the week because I needed to still be functional for work. But last night I like had an entire pizza, like not like a normal size pizza, but like a whole personal pizza. It was delicious. Actually, it had mushrooms and feta, or no, sorry, not feta, goat cheese and garlic, to my husband's dismay, but it was delicious and had, like, I ate all the crust and everything, which for that kind of pizza, I wouldn't normally do that. Or I would, and then I would have an attack and just deal with it. And then we went to a dessert place afterward, and I had this like chocolate mousse dessert, and it was so good. But it had a little bit of coffee in it, and I think that kind of like, I woke up super early this morning. I've gotten like 4 hours of sleep, and I feel like maybe the coffee was, I'm very sensitive to caffeine. I feel like that was not helpful, but I was also super excited about today. So I think that was playing into it a lot. But yeah, so I don't recommend doing this, but this morning I had 2 wild berry Pop-Tarts, and I've had 2 rainbow Rice Krispies, and that's like, God, like over 100 grams of carbs and like close to 50, I think, grams of added sugar, which is not, that's the opposite of how I usually eat. I usually avoid those situations because I know how they affect me, and I can feel it. I'm honestly like surprised I'm not having more severe of an attack, but like I know that once I get up from this spot, because I've been sitting, like I'm gonna feel it. Like my muscles are just heavy, and it's like, it's not like I have Charlie horses right now, but it's like I can feel like my muscles are like in that pre-cramping kind of stage. And I like really pushed myself yesterday, like physically, not, well, I shouldn't say super, it wasn't a super intense workout, but like I did some strength training to kind of see how like my body would respond to that. And sometimes like if I work out intensely one night, like the next morning I'll have an attack. So I was kind of hoping that that might help provoke an attack, and sometimes it doesn't happen until like later in the day. So I don't know if this is going to happen as I hope in front of the doctor, but again, I do not recommend this. Like, this could be very dangerous to people with certain conditions, or even people with periodic paralysis who have like a more severe form. So not recommended, but this is just my way of dealing with it. I know, like, I have a sweet tooth, so I know that I've eaten this kind of stuff in the past and lived through it to tell about the tale, so I don't think I'm gonna die. But it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But I just wanted to check in with you guys because I was super excited about today, and to tell you kind of like how I've been prepping for today. If you have any thoughts, just let me know in the comments, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys after the appointment.